So there is a lot of speculation going around about Donald Trump. If he's with us, if he's not. Me personally, I can tell that he's definitely had some challenges. He looks to me very inflamed. He looks to me very, like just his mobility isn't there. We have to remember he's in his 70s. A lot of men don't make it past their 70s. The most challenging age for men is in their 50s, and in their 70s, that's when they have a lot of health complications and also health concerns. I'm not into predicting people's times of going to the other side. That's just not my thing. I feel like it's something that should be left alone. That's my own spiritual beliefs. But I will tell you, this is definitely a challenging time for him. So Donald Trump is a Gemini sun, and he is also a Leo rising, and he is also a Sagittarius moon. When I pulled up his chart, it was like at 6 a.m. And at this time, the moon was in Scorpio. The moon is now currently in Sagittarius, which is all in Donald's fourth house. But I think the moon was definitely affecting him in the energies, as it was literally in critical degrees transitioning from his third house to his fourth house, as now it will be in Sagittarius. So it'll be very interesting till when the moon hits 21 degrees, and it will have the transitioning moon conjuncting his natal moon completely. We have to remember that astrologically speaking, this year, this last year has had a lot of movement for him, because not only do we had Saturn moving from Pisces to Aries, but we also had Uranus transitioning over to Gemini. Now for Trump, this is hitting his solar energy, his sun energy, who he is as an individual, and Uranus is a different type of energy than what he's been used to as having the Jupiter energy. It's just a different type of dynamic. It's just a different type of movement. And as we can see, this is all in Trump's 10th house. So this is Uranus right there. And so it's so new. It's such a baby. It's such at a baby degree. It's still at 1. And we see this is right over his 10th house, just moving over the energy of the 10th. We also see his North Node in Gemini as well. The North Node in Gemini, to me, shows energies of communication and obstacles. The North Node really represents that energy of the dragon's head, what you're here to face here and now, the obstacles and the movement. I've said many times before that I feel like Trump's energy of communication was some of the things that people loved about him, but then some of the things that people absolutely hated about him. And I do feel like him being a messenger in some aspects is definitely the way that he will have his ultimate fall from grace. And we see it's in the 10th house. And the 10th house is really that energy of place of where career is established, legacy is established, masculine energy is established, and it really has that energy of who are you as a leader. And we see Uranus just moving on through. Now, most likely, and I'm not predicting his demise, but I'm saying most likely Uranus is going to be in the 10th for him for quite some time. So Uranus is with each zodiac for roughly about 7 years. So there's a huge possibility this aspect, this movement is going to continue for another 7 years. Will Donald Trump? And also, this Uranus, this transitioning Uranus, has a very, very, very strong square with his natal ascendant, how people see him, how people view him, okay? And this energy of his natal ascendant is in Leo, the energy of leader. So this hits an all-time high on these dates. This energy is currently moving, right, as we have Uranus in retrograde. Now, Uranus is going to have some energy all the way until January of 2026. This energy is going to be squaring his ascendant. Then it's going to take a little bit of a break. It's not going to be as exact. It's still going to be there, but it's not going to be as harsh, I guess you could say. Then it's going to return again in May of 2026 and hit exact in that energy of April to May of 2026. Then also in January of 2027 and February 2027, the degree will not be exact. So what's also interesting about his chart is that we have the transitioning Saturn at 0 degrees in the energy of the 8th. Also with Neptune at 1 degree. Now, both of these energies, both these planets are in retrograde. Saturn's going to go ahead and move on over to back to Pisces, I believe on the 2nd of September. That energy is all in Trump's 7th house. It'll be interesting what happens when Saturn reaches the energy of 18 degrees, close enough to the North Node. What that energy will show in the areas of partnerships. And what's also interesting is this Saturn is in conjunct of his ascendant. So this energy is obstacle-ish. It also restricts freedoms. So I feel like everything that maybe felt like it should go more smoothly with who he is, the way the collective sees him, also the way that he moves in energies of relationships, also energies of secrets, definitely feels more challenging. So I feel like his secrets aren't going to be able to be like hidden like he would like them. It's going to be interesting when it does move over to the 7th. And then also on September 7th, we have our first lunar eclipse that's occurring in Pisces in Trump's 8th house. And that house marks a lot of change and marks a lot of spooky elements, transitioning elements, transformation elements, closing of chapters, movement. It has a lot of ties of being centered around, I guess you could say, the occult, witchiness, spookiness. So whatever the witchy babes or witchy psychics have been predicting, I bet they're definitely looking at that house to see what will happen with this lunar eclipse in Pisces, which will be transitioning over his 8th into the 7th. And also it is occurring at 15 degrees. And what's interesting with this eclipse is basically hitting him. So this eclipse season is definitely going to hit him in a lot of energy. I think we have an eclipse in Pisces. We have the lunar eclipse. We also have the solar eclipse, I believe, in Virgo. I mean, then we have an annular eclipse in Aquarius. Like, we just have a lot for this eclipse season. And one of the things that stands out about this upcoming eclipse in Pisces, this lunar eclipse that is occurring on September 7th. Now you guys got me nosy and I pulled up the chart. Is the transitioning sun squares his natal Uranus, and his transitioning moon squares his natal moon, and also the transitioning moon squares his natal Uranus. So I think it's a lot of energy for the Trumpster. But you know, we will see how he does. We will see what what happens. But yeah. So I'm definitely sure all the witchies are waiting for this eclipse, biting their nails. But we will see.